Here we go. Welcome into Bengals Breakdown. I am your host, Stone Shields. We got some breaking news here on a late Friday afternoon. Cincinnati making another move in free agency, signing interior offensive lineman, guard, Lucas Patrick to a one-year contract. Contract details aren't fully known at this time, but John Sheeran of A to Z Sports did say the deal is worth $2.1 million, so not quite a vet minimum situation, but obviously not going to cost Cincinnati too much bringing in Lucas Patrick on a one-year deal. We're going to spend some time talking about Lucas Patrick here in a minute, but first, do want to remind you guys to hit that sub button if you haven't done so already, youtube.com/Bengals TV. When Cincinnati Bengals breaking news hits, we always got you covered here with a video at Bengals Breakdown. Obviously not a super big name here with Lucas Patrick, as we'll get into. It might not even be a shoe-in to be a starter, but nonetheless, a signing the Bengals have made in free agency. So don't miss out when any Bengals news hits. We've got you covered here at Bengals Breakdown. Hit that sub button for us, youtube.com/Bengals TV. All right, so we actually spent a lot of time this morning talking about Lucas Patrick on our video that went out around 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Patrick actually came to Cincinnati last night, had a visit with the team, so it was kind of expected that Cincinnati would offer him a contract, just a matter of whether or not the two would agree on a deal, and it turns out, reported not too long ago, that Lucas Patrick and the Bengals did indeed reach an agreement. Not exactly sure if they were meeting last night or today, but regardless, they do reach a deal with Lucas Patrick. Spent this past season playing with the New Orleans Saints, was drafted by the Green Bay Packers, had a stint with Chicago in between those spots as well. Only played in 10 games for New Orleans this past year. Saw his season come to an end a little bit early when he suffered a knee injury. As you can see here with some of these numbers and grades from PFF, the numbers don't exactly jump out at you, but he hasn't allowed a sack in a couple of years. Obviously, that is very noteworthy when you're bringing in a guard for Cincinnati. Priority number one is protect Joe Burrow, and the Bengals obviously hope that he can come into the mix and compete for a starting spot along that offensive line, working, of course, with Scott Peters, who's brought in to replace Frank Pollock. And this is the first new name we are getting into the Bengals offensive line room, certainly a room that needed a massive upgrade. This is kind of the first step Cincinnati has made here in free agency prior to the draft, bringing in Lucas Patrick. Leads us to the pinned comment of today's video. Grade the signing of Lucas Patrick for us in the comment section. A, B, C, D, or F. For me personally, I think probably a C, right? He's not a guy. I think we've talked a lot at length about Brandon Scherff, kind of hoping Cincinnati would reach a deal with him. Instead, they go with Lucas Patrick here. Doesn't mean they don't sign Scherff down the road, but for me, it's C. You're still not really sure if he's going to start for you, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down there. Let us know what you think. Of note on Lucas Patrick, there is a bit of a relationship with Bengals' new defensive line coach, Jerry Montgomery. The two obviously spent some time together in Green Bay, and I was kind of talking on this morning's edition of Bengals Breakdown, saying if you have history in Green Bay, I'm always seemingly interested in you because Green Bay just seems like they always do the right things as an organization. They got players, that are always, seem to be very coachable guys, right? And they go out there, they have success on the football field. Now, obviously, Patrick didn't most recently spend time with the Green Bay Packers, but that's where he's played the bulk of his career to this point. By the way, he is 31 years of age. It's a one-year deal. I would be surprised if he was around in 2026. I very much think this is a one-and-done thing, just trying to add some depth there to your offensive line room, but I think that ties to Green Bay certainly is noteworthy. Bengals also have two their other guys that they brought in free agency having ties with Green Bay as well, in TJ Slaton and Oren Burks. But taking a look at what Cincinnati's working with here along the offensive line. Again, I'm not going to sit out there and say Lucas Patrick is a shoe-in to start. Is he going to be competing to start? I don't know. He could just very well be a depth piece for this football team. Cincinnati liked what they got from Cody Ford. They liked his versatility, and they're bringing him back. Obviously, he was extended this offseason, and Cordell Volson kind of going into the last year of his rookie deal. Hopefully, a new offensive line coach can maybe bring the best out of Cordell Volson, but obviously you've had some struggles there when it comes to Volson in recent years. Even saw him get benched in several games last season, getting replaced by Cody Ford. But that interior, the guys that are in there next to Ted Karras, have to be a lot better for Cincinnati in 2025. I think for me, really, my just immediate reaction to this is a little bit of a relief that they've addressed it, right? Certainly would hope that it's a better, name that was brought in, a guy that's maybe had a little bit more success. But it was, for me, like, okay, we're at least bringing somebody in that has experience in the league. Cincinnati trying to add a new body to that room. It was only a matter of time before they did it, and it happens here on March 21st with Lucas Patrick. What is your one-word reaction to this signing? Let me know in the comments of today's show. Mine would not really be a word, but probably just the emoji of the guy shrugging his shoulders, right? Doesn't really move the needle for me, but as I just mentioned, I'm happy they at least brought somebody in. And, maybe Scott Peters can get the best out of Lucas Patrick. It's a guy that has experience starting in the league, by the way. He started and has a lot of experience at center as well. I think the positional versatility also was something that Cincinnati was intrigued by when it came to Lucas Patrick, a guy that can play along different spots of the offensive line. And, the Bengals have always liked guys that have the ability to do that. It's an ongoing process for Cincinnati to shore up that interior. I think you got to feel really, really good about what you have on the outsides there with Orlando Brown Jr. and Amarius Mims. And the interior, obviously, is what you're trying to work with here. And Lucas Patrick is being brought in to try to help that group. And, Patrick, the biggest thing to me that stands out about a guy like Lucas Patrick is the fact that he's got that experience and maybe necessarily hasn't played at the highest of high levels, and the Bengals are hoping to perhaps get that out of him. And I think Scott Peters, I think a lot of us here are excited about Scott Peters and his, ability on what he can do with the Cincinnati Bengals and, grooming some of their offensive linemen. And this is a veteran that can come into the room and really be mature. He's been a part of winning in the past, right? I mean, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers was along with him in that tenure. They won a lot of games. And I do have to credit kind of the work ethic here of Lucas Patrick, because there was a point early in his career he was waived by Green Bay. Things were kind of, not trending in the right direction for Lucas Patrick, but he stuck with it. Ultimately, was able to get another deal with Green Bay, and then since has bounced around a little bit and still has been able to play quality professional football. The injury certainly is a bit of a red flag for me. And hopefully, he'll be able to come back after that knee issue and be kind of back to his old self. You always worry about that with offensive linemen, right? You don't always know that, if they're such big guys and if they have a serious injury or whatever, they may not come back the same. You could say that for all football players, but I think offensive line is certainly one of them. And if the Bengals can get Lucas Patrick, the guy that he was before he was hurt, and then have Scott Peters also develop him as well, I think that'll bode very well for Cincinnati, and hopefully he can at least be a rotational guy, or a guy at least they can count on to offer Joe Burrow some protection. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. When Cincinnati Bengals breaking news hits, we've got you covered here at the channel. Don't miss out. Hit that sub button right now.